The year was 1945. World War II had just ended and America was rebuilding. In a small laboratory in New Jersey, a chemist named Dr. Harold Finch made a discovery that would have revolutionized pet ownership forever. He had cracked the code to permanently eliminate pet odors, not mask them, not cover them up, but eliminate them completely and forever. The formula was simple. The cost was negligible. The results were miraculous. But within months, the formula vanished. Documents were destroyed. Patents were buried. Dr. Finch himself disappeared from public records. For over 80 years, homeowners have been kept in the dark about a solution so effective, so cheap, and so permanent that it threatened to collapse an entire industry worth billions of dollars. This is the story of how corporate greed erased one of the most important discoveries in household chemistry, and how you can recreate it today. Dr. Harold Finch wasn't trying to solve the pet odor problem. He was working on industrial odor neutralization for factories and manufacturing plants. His research focused on molecular bonds and how certain chemical compounds could permanently break down the organic compounds responsible for foul smells. What he discovered was revolutionary: a powder formula that didn't simply absorb odors or mask them with perfume. Instead, it chemically neutralized the very molecules causing the smell. When applied correctly, it rendered pet odors completely inert, unable to be detected by the human nose, permanently. The formula consisted of 4 basic ingredients, all available commercially: activated charcoal, the base absorber; calcium hydroxide, the chemical neutralizer; essential mineral compounds, the catalyst; and natural plant extracts, the binding agent. When combined in precise proportions and activated through a simple process, these ingredients created something unprecedented: a permanent solution to pet odors that cost less than 50 cents per application. Finch published his findings in a 1945 chemistry journal. The response was immediate, but not from homeowners. It came from the pet care industry. By 1946, the pet care industry in America was already a multi-million-dollar enterprise. Companies like Odor Eaters, Fresh Scent, and dozens of smaller manufacturers were selling expensive sprays, powders, and treatments that provided temporary relief at premium prices. A single can of pet odor spray cost $3.95 in 1945 dollars, equivalent to about $65 today. These companies realized immediately what Finch's discovery meant: the end of recurring revenue. If homeowners could buy a cheap powder once and permanently solve their pet odor problem, they would never buy another spray, another powder, another revolutionary treatment again. The industry would collapse. Billions in lifetime profits would evaporate. What happened next was systematic erasure. Industry representatives approached Dr. Finch. The details are murky, records were destroyed, but what we know is this: Finch's research was quietly discredited. His journal publication was retracted under dubious circumstances. Patent applications were mysteriously rejected. And within 2 years, Finch had left the chemistry field entirely, his name scrubbed from academic records. The formula itself was never patented, a strategic move by industry players who ensured that if the formula couldn't be owned, it couldn't be legitimized. Academic institutions that had supported Finch's work suddenly distanced themselves. Universities received donations from pet care manufacturers. Research grants dried up. By 1950, the pet odor powder formula had been completely erased from public consciousness. A generation of homeowners grew up never knowing that a permanent solution had ever existed. Pet odors, whether from urine, feces, or general animal musk, are caused by volatile organic compounds, VOCs, and nitrogen-based molecules. These molecules are extremely stable and persistent. They cling to fabrics, soak into wood, embed themselves in carpet fibers, and continue releasing their smell for months or even years. Traditional pet odor solutions work in one of 3 ways: absorption. They trap the odor molecules temporarily with limited capacity. Masking. They cover the smell with a stronger scent temporarily without solving the problem. Or enzymatic breakdown. They use enzymes to break down organic matter slowly and inconsistently. The Finch formula does something different. It chemically neutralizes the odor molecules themselves. Here's how it works. Activated charcoal acts as the initial trap, capturing odor molecules through adsorption. But charcoal alone is temporary. It fills up and stops working. Calcium hydroxide is the game changer. This alkaline compound chemically reacts with the acidic nitrogen compounds in pet urine and feces, converting them into neutral, odorless salts. This isn't absorption, it's a permanent chemical transformation. Mineral compounds, specifically iron oxide and magnesium silicate, act as catalysts, accelerating the neutralization reaction and extending the formula's effectiveness. Natural plant extracts, typically from cedar or eucalyptus, serve as binding agents, helping the powder adhere to surfaces and penetrate deep into fabrics and wood. When these four components are combined in the correct proportions and activated through a simple heating process, they create a synergistic effect. The powder doesn't just trap odors, it destroys them at the molecular level. The results are permanent. Once the chemical reaction is complete, the odor molecules no longer exist. They cannot return. They cannot regenerate. The problem is solved forever. A homeowner with a dog or cat typically spends on pet odor sprays $8 to $15 per can, 2 to 3 cans per month, which equals $200 to $540 per year. Enzymatic treatments cost $12 to $25 per bottle, 1 to 2 bottles per month, which equals $150 to $300 per year. Odor eliminating litter costs $2 to $4 more per bag than regular litter, 2 bags per week, which equals $200 to $400 per year. Professional carpet cleaning costs $150 to $300 per session, 2 to 4 times per year, which equals $300 to $1,200 per year. Air fresheners and diffusers cost $5 to $15 per unit with constant replacement, which equals $100 to $200 per year. Total annual spending, $950 to $2,640 per year per pet. Over a pet's 10 to 15-year lifespan, a single pet owner spends between $9,500 and $39,600 on pet odor management. The pet odor powder formula costs approximately $2 to $3 per application and solves the problem permanently. A single application typically lasts 6 to 12 months, depending on the severity of the odor problem. One homeowner's lifetime spending would drop from $15,000 to $30,000 to $50 to $100. Multiply that by the millions of pet owners in America, and you're looking at an industry collapse worth billions of dollars annually. This is why the formula was erased. This is why it remained hidden for 80 years. The pet care industry couldn't afford for people to know the truth. Now that you understand why this formula was suppressed, here's how to recreate it. All ingredients are available commercially and completely safe for use around pets and children. Pour the activated charcoal into your glass mixing bowl. Activated charcoal is the foundation of the formula. It provides the initial odor trapping capacity and creates the texture needed for even distribution. Slowly add the calcium hydroxide to the charcoal, stirring constantly. The mixture will begin to thicken and change color slightly. Mix thoroughly until you have a uniform gray-black powder with no visible clumps. This step is critical. Uneven distribution will reduce effectiveness. Add the iron oxide powder and magnesium silicate, stirring continuously. These minerals accelerate the chemical neutralization reaction. You should notice the mixture becoming slightly heavier and more compact. Continue stirring for at least 2 minutes to ensure complete integration. Crush the dried cedar chips into small fragments, roughly the size of peppercorns, and add them to the mixture. If using beeswax, shave it finely and add it now. Stir for another minute. The cedar or eucalyptus provides the binding agent and adds a subtle natural scent that masks any chemical smell. For maximum potency, spread the mixture on a baking sheet and place it in a 200 degrees Fahrenheit oven for 15 minutes. This gentle heating activates the chemical compounds and increases the formula's effectiveness by approximately 30%. Allow it to cool completely before proceeding. Transfer the powder to an airtight glass jar. Properly stored, this formula remains effective for up to 2 years. Keep it in a cool, dry place away from direct sunlight. The effectiveness of this formula depends on proper application. For urine odors on carpets and rugs, identify the affected area using a blacklight or your nose to locate the problem spot. Sprinkle the pet odor powder generously over the affected area, creating a layer approximately 1/4 inch thick. Let it sit for 24 hours. During this time, the chemical reaction is occurring. Do not disturb the powder. Vacuum thoroughly, making multiple passes to remove all powder. The odor should be completely eliminated. If any smell remains, repeat the process. For litter box areas, sprinkle the powder directly into the litter box before adding fresh litter. Mix it into the top layer of litter. Replace as you would normal litter. The powder will neutralize odors as they form, keeping the litter box fresh for weeks. For furniture and upholstery, sprinkle the powder on the affected area. Use a soft brush to work it into the fabric fibers. Allow 24 hours for the chemical reaction. Vacuum or brush away the powder. For stubborn odors, repeat the process. For hard floors and wood, sprinkle the powder on the affected area. Lightly dampen with a spray bottle using water only. Allow 48 hours for the reaction to complete. Sweep or vacuum away the powder. The wood or floor should be completely odor-free. The suppression of the pet odor powder formula is more than just a story about corporate greed, though it certainly is that. It's a window into how industries protect profits over progress, how information is controlled, and how solutions that could improve millions of lives are deliberately hidden. This isn't unique to pet care. Throughout history, industries have suppressed technologies and formulas that threatened their bottom line. From automotive fuel efficiency to medical treatments to household cleaning solutions, the pattern repeats. When a cheap, effective solution threatens billion-dollar industries, that solution gets erased. The good news is that the formula still works. The chemistry hasn't changed. The science is sound. And now, after 80 years of suppression, you have the knowledge to recreate it yourself. You no longer need to spend thousands of dollars on temporary pet odor solutions. You no longer need to live with lingering smells in your home. You no longer need to accept the narrative that pet odors are an unavoidable part of pet ownership. The solution was discovered in 1945. It was suppressed for profit, but it never stopped being true. The pet odor powder formula represents something larger than itself: the power of knowledge, the importance of questioning official narratives, and the possibility of taking control of your own life through understanding. When you make this powder and apply it, you're not just eliminating odors, you're reclaiming your home. You're rejecting the manufactured need that industries have created. You're proving that simple, cheap, permanent solutions exist, if you're willing to look for them. The formula was erased in 1945, but erasure is never complete. The truth always finds a way back to the surface. Now you know. Now you can act. Your home, your choice, your solution.